Hello there. What is going on, everyone? We are talking Star Wars Shatterpoint today, the latest game announced by Atomic Mass Games coming in 2023 to your tabletops. We know a little bit more information about some of the units and the models that are going to be coming in the core set. So I want to talk about that today. If you haven't already, make sure you enter to win that lightsaber giveaway we got running through the end of the year. You just have to be a subscriber and leave a comment on this or one of my videos. It's as simple as that. We are going to also be doing 12 Days of Life Day giveaways. So we're going to be giving away lots of prizes all throughout the month of December. Even though technically Life Day is in November, I'm still doing the 12 Days of Life Day giveaway in December. It's my channel. I do it however I want, whatever. Anyway, I can be technically inaccurate as long as we're having fun. But yeah, so Star Wars Shatterpoint, we got a little bit of information. AMG has been kind of revealing some more artwork and some images on their social media, and we got some cool stuff to talk about. So we've got basically 4 squads to talk about. We got 2 squads of good guys, 2 squads of bad guys. We're going to talk about the good guys first because basically it looks like 4 units is kind of a squad. And it's still unclear how list building works or exactly how all of this works, but we have kind of like leaders, and then we have grunts, and we have like supports. And so like it seems like, you know, there's kind of like your top tier person in a squad. So we're going to take this side of the good guys, right? Like so we have got Ahsoka, and then as our top, and then we've got our mid tier person who's going to be Bo-Katan, and then we've got our 2 Mandos, which are like more like the troops, right? So you've got your top, your middle, and your 2 bottoms. So maybe I'll find different language for that, but basically that's kind of a squad. So it looks like the course that's going to have 2 good guy squads. Of course, we've got Anakin in the 501st, so it's going to be Anakin and Rex, and then 2 clones for our light side. I could say the Republic side, but at the same time, I'm like, well, is Ahsoka still technically Republic? Maybe she is, but she's certainly no Jedi anymore. But I don't think the Mandalorians are, you know, granted they're kind of fighting on the side of the Republic, but they're not like in the Republic, right? So I don't know if they'll probably just be Republic for simplifications purposes, but I'm just going to call them good guys for right now. But basically, these look fantastic, and it definitely looks to be like MCP scale or maybe a little bit larger. The scale is still unconfirmed. There's been a lot of images going around of people saying, like showing this next to a Legion miniature and saying, oh, it must be at this scale, it must be at that scale. A lot of that stuff has been debunked as not necessarily true, and so we still don't know exactly what the scale is. Like, these could be as big as Funko Pops. These could be as big as Disney Infinity models. They could be the same size as Marvel Crisis Protocol. I expect they're probably around MCP size, maybe a little bit larger, because the paint jobs on these are really fantastic, and it looks to me almost like very statuesque. Like it's got to be a little bigger than Legion, and of course, the bases look a little bit bigger. They look like they look very much like Marvel Crisis Protocol bases. So I kind of figure they're probably going to be about this big, whereas Legion figures are about that big, something like that. That's my guess based on the images, but we don't have a reference in these images. Like there's not like, a bottle cap or something like that, or there's not like something familiar that we can all do our own comparisons with. So we still have to kind of wait with interesting anticipation. But these paint jobs look absolutely fantastic. And it does certainly seem like we're going to be able to customize these things. Like I can potentially run Anakin the 501st. They talk a lot about the customizability, so maybe you want to run Ahsoka with the 501st also. You might be able to do that. And of course, we saw a lot more than this in the launch trailer. We saw Luminara. We also know Mace Windu's coming. There's a whole bunch more of different things that are going to be available. And also, once we start looking at the bad guys too, we're going to see, there was a lot more bad guys coming as well. So there's definitely tons to whet your appetite for right now. So, but if you guys have seen these images and you kind of zoom in a little bit more, like they look good. They look really good. Like they definitely spent a lot of time on these, like the effects on the smoke. Like I think the guys at AMG, whether Dallas Kemp did these himself or whether they had, contracted, work done. I don't know. You never know who painted everything. So I can't wait for a live stream to ask these questions. Like, hey, did you guys paint these? Did you contract them out? Who knows? But they're really, really well done. So whoever did these, they look awesome. Maybe a little too awesome, because when I was watching the video, I'm like, wait a second, the lightsabers specifically is where I'm wondering, wait a second, they're almost glowing there, and so I'm gonna zoom in a little bit. Like, I feel like, and again, it's good marketing because it really makes it pop. But I feel like they applied a little bit of a Photoshop filter on those blades, because it's just like, I don't know, and it could just be, when you zoom in, things kind of get pixelated a little bit. But if that's actually if that's unmodified, then that's absolutely incredible, because I could never make a lightsaber look that good. I've tried, I've never done it. And so, and by the way, just look like Anakin's face and hair and everything they did a fantastic job with all of these. They look really good. You should definitely go check out AMG's social media pages and look at them a lot closer up. They look super awesome. But basically, this is kind of what we're getting in the core set. My only criticism here, and of course this can totally change, it's going to be up to you, is that this Mando looks a lot like Jango Fett, and it's not Jango Fett. Right, but it looks a lot like it's painted in the same color scheme, and I know the Night Owls and Bo-Katan's crew, they did have that very similar color scheme, and so I think there were a couple of times where I was like, wait, is that Jango? Why is Jango next to Ahsoka? Is he shooting Ahsoka? What's going on? And if you look closer, you're like, all right, well, he's only got one pistol, and he doesn't have all the exact same details that Jango Fett has. But this guy does look a lot like Jango Fett. And so I think, I've kind of drifted from painting my own stuff in wildly different color schemes to painting my stuff closer to canon. But I think in this guy's case, I'm inverting his colors. I'm going to probably give him blue armor, or at least more blue armor, or at least blue trim on the armor, but something to definitively say, no. He's not Jango, because he does have kind of that a little bit of a gunslinger pose. He's got he's got similarities to Jango, and of course he should, because he is a Mandalorian after all, and a lot of their armor is awfully similar. But I imagine, at least with this particular paint scheme, I think some people are going to get a little confused. I won't be surprised if I wasn't the first person to make that connection. Let me know if you thought that he looked a lot like Jango Fett, or if I'm just crazy and it's absolutely clear. No, Crabbok, you're a moron. It couldn't possibly be Jango because of some obscure detail that I'm overlooking right now. But he looks like Jango to me, so of course he's not, because we've seen Jango in the trailer. But yeah, so speaking of bad guys, let's talk about these bad guys. We've got this is what's going to be coming in the core set. Now, if you guys remember the box art, I did say oh yeah, well, in our last video, I'm like, the stuff you see on the box usually comes in the box, and in this case, this is what we're getting. So we've got Maul, we've got Maul's DeLoreans. We pretty much knew that was going to be in the core set. I didn't know Asajj was going to be in the core set, although you could kind of guess because they show her. Also didn't realize that Kalani is going to be in the core set. Now, before also, there was some clarification that apparently there is going to be a second B1 battle droids unit, even though they only show one of them in this picture. There should be an extra model as far as what's being included. I think there was an extra B1 that just didn't fit in the frame, or for whatever reason. Because the B1s look like they have a slightly larger base, because you got 3 models on the single base. So it looks like they have a larger base. So think, if you're familiar with Marvel Crisis Protocol, you know how some larger characters like Hulk or whatever have a larger base, and they may move shorter, but because the base is larger, it still kind of equals out or whatever. It looks to me like the B1s are on a larger base, and especially compared to Kalani's base there, or Kalani being the super tactical droid on the far on the far side. But in the center, we've got Ahsoka, and we've got Maul. Again, awesome, kind of more of a red glow effect on there, but those sabers just look absolutely incredible. And again, they all look incredible. I particularly like the paint job on Asajj Ventress. I really like the paint job they put on the B1s too, even as it comes down to it. But one of the new details we learned from this particular image is that Gar Saxon is, first off, we did get confirmation that this is indeed Gar Saxon, and the other Mandos don't appear to be named characters after all. But Gar Saxon can be built multiple different ways. And I think that's pretty cool, because if we go back to the video, we see him with a pistol and also the shield. I initially thought that was Gar Saxon because of the yellow visor, and I was like, he looks a lot like Gar Saxon. But if we go back, we can see it's still the same body sculpt, but he's now got the sniper rifle config and has no helmet on. So that gives you, that's a couple of different options. So you can do with or without helmet. You can do, pistol and shield, or you can do the double-armed sniper rifle option, which is pretty cool. And that also gives you potentially an idea of how Gar Saxon will play if you've ever used him or run him in Legion. He can be close or he can be long range. Tends to work a little better at range, but he's also somebody out there. He's still a Mandalorian super commando, so he's still going to have a lot of the abilities that the Mandos have. Still going to have that jetpack. Still going to be able to jump. Jumping is going to be important, and I think that's a really important thing. And I think if we look at all the different characters, we've got a lot of characters that are going to be able to get to high ground, get to different elevations. We know elevation is going to be a big part of this game. And if you look at what comes in the core set, you've got at least 2 different types of characters that are going to have some weaknesses. All right? In this case, the B1s and Kalani don't appear to have the ability to jump to high ground. I mean, I'm guessing based on just the model and what we know of those characters, like I don't see like grappling hooks on the B1s and things like that, right? I just don't expect that would be the case. And that could be part of their balancing. Maybe their point cost is low, or maybe you don't want everybody to be able, because then maybe you do want some characters that have a harder time getting up and down, and that gives extra value to the characters that have jetpacks or the ability to jump with the Force. If we go back here, we have kind of similar stuff. We've got we've got Mandos. You got Mandos everywhere, and Mandos are really smart if you need there to be characters that can jump, but you don't want them necessarily to be all Jedi. You obviously have Anakin and Ahsoka that can also jump up and down and take the high ground, but maybe your clones can't do that. Right now, Rex, it depends on how they want to do Rex. Rex has been known to use a jump pack here and there, so maybe the other clones won't have it, or maybe this is Rex without the jump pack. Rex sans jump pack. I don't know yet. I guess we're going to have to wait and see once we get more details on what like character cards and character abilities look like. But it definitely does look like these 2 sets in the core set, or these 2 forces, are sort of balanced against each other. And I thought that was pretty cool. So not a whole lot of information based on these images and the discussion that's been going on around them. But AMG's social media team has been knocking it out of the park with being, engaging with people and trying to give out some information without spoiling too much, because again, there's they can't just drop I wish they would. I wish they'd just give us all the information like right now, but that's not the way it works. We can't get all the information today. We can't have it all right now, and it might be a little overload. So sometimes, it helps, especially for me, since I'm trying to keep rules for like 4 different games all up in my head at the same time. It helps to have these things kind of sprinkled down a little bit. And of course, we're going to be getting more and more, a lot more after the new year. So after 2023 actually arrives, then we're going to be seeing this go up for pre-order. We're going to be seeing more information roll out, more streams. Maybe we'll get some painting streams of this before the end of the year. I kind of hope so. Let me know if you're looking forward to that, because I'd love to see it painted, especially to see like a finger, or a paintbrush on there. That'll give us an idea on whether or not these are like 12-inch figures, or or something crazy. I've seen speculation all across the gamut from like almost barely Legion, sized, all the way to like 12 inches tall, some people have said. So, all right, that is going to do it for today's video, folks. That's some of what we're getting in the core set. We still know very, very little about movement, other types of plastic tools, dice, if they exist, what they look like, or if there no dice at all, maybe. Who knows if it's card-driven combat, dice-driven combat. Maybe nothing. Maybe it's static values. This mob always does 4 damage. We don't know, and I can't wait to find out more. And of course, as we get more information, I'll be bringing it to you, so make sure you're sticking around. Like the video, share the video, all that good stuff. Also, huge thanks to my patrons. You guys are absolutely amazing and help make this channel possible. May the Force be with you. Live long and prosper. Be excellent to each other. You can't take the sky from me. And, have a great day.